The Central Florida Christian Chamber and Triangle Media welcome you to the Builders Podcast, spotlighting Christian business leaders and their stories of faith, leadership, and success. Here's your host, Suzanne Lynn.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Lynn. Welcome to Builders Podcast. It's the first edition, and we're so glad, Randye, that you're here. Randye McLemore is going to be speaking at the September Chamber meeting. And before we get started, there's something really important that we have to touch on, and that's your absolutely adorable earrings. We just cannot begin the show without those. How did that happen?
These earrings were made by a young girl in Central America, and I was on a vision trip. And we all the ladies got these earrings, and these are from children who really, really need to move forward and move up in the world. Oh. And so through an organization called Missionary Ventures, I have girded up and getting ready to help out.
That's wonderful.
That's what we're doing.
So
that's our new step. That's the future.
We're definitely going to put a link to Missionary Ventures.
Absolutely.
So that they can get the earrings and maybe help support the ministry as well.
That would be great.
Well, there's a good chance that in your life, you have been in deep waters. You've been in a place of pain. And we're kind of calling this show When All You Have Is God. That's all you need. And Randye, if you would just kind of start with who you are, what you do, and then we're going to dive a little bit into your story.
Well, I was born a Jewish girl. I was raised in the temple and really was very interested in the things of God. But teaching in the religious school and learning all the things I learned, I realized that there was something that somebody wasn't telling me, something that was missing. And one day when I was at the very, very bottom of my life, a friend of mine came to me and said, if I can show you Jesus in the pages of your Bible, your Old Testament Bible, will you believe that he's God? Well, of course, I knew Jesus wasn't in the Bible because I had read the Old Testament, so I said, go right ahead.
Right.
And so she opened up the book. She showed me where he was born, in Micah, where he lived, how he died, and his resurrection, and the whole story in Isaiah 53. She closed the book, put it on the table, and said, do you have any questions? No. Jesus was Lord.
Oh, my
Jesus
goodness.
was God. And so I became a Christian in my 30s, and it was an amazing journey. It's been an amazing journey ever since.
Okay, so can I just talk about the bold step that your friend had to take to do that? Because it's easy to witness and to share our faith, for me, with strangers that I know I'm never going to see again. This was a friend.
This was my friend, and she saw my life spinning out of control. She saw what was happening to me. And so one day she came over for coffee and sat down and showed me the gospel. But what was more interesting, what's most interesting, it's been 35 years since I'm a believer. A couple of years ago, I called her and I said to her, look, if your ears are burning, I want you to know that I talk about you all the time because you led me to the Lord. And she said, but you don't understand. In 35 years, I only led one person to the Lord.
Wow.
And that was you. Wow. She said, and I've been far away from the Lord, and I need you now to lead me back.
I have goosebumps.
To the Lord.
Oh my
goodness. And that's what I did a few years ago. It was an amazing journey.
This plan, and growing up as a Jewish child, this could not have boded well with your family.
My family rejected me, and for 6 years they didn't speak to me. So, I was mourned as dead.
And things are better now.
Things are better now.
Okay.
But it took a while.
Can we just visit real quick the dark, deep place that you were at? Because I think so many of us can relate to go, man, there were 3 times in my life that I can recall that I was at the very, very bottom. And that's when I was vulnerable to know more about Christ. That's why when I went to church, I was crying because I felt so unworthy, like I didn't deserve to be there. What did your dark, deep place look like?
I was 29 years old and already on my second marriage.
Okay.
I did not know the Lord. I knew the history of my people, I knew the Bible, but I didn't know God. I didn't know who he was. And so as the people left my life, I was abandoned, left alone. I had my parents, I had my daughter, but I really didn't have the love that I was looking for. And my girlfriend showed me the love that really mattered.
Wow.
And so I've been a follower of God ever since, follower of Christ ever since. And when I was led to the Lord, I asked him for 2 things.
Okay.
I asked him for the opportunity to earn $1 million.
Okay, well, that's very specific.
I asked him for the opportunity to earn $1 million and for the opportunity to serve.
Wow.
And the $1 million, by the way, was not for money. The $1 million was the mark for me.
That was hitting the goal.
That was the goal.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've got this thing that you refer to as MOXIE. This is your daily inspiration. Can you talk about that?
Yes. MOXIE is an acronym. And when you come to the lunch, you will learn what it stands for.
Okay.
But MOXIE is the impotence that keeps you going. And of course, I would have used the word chutzpah, but I couldn't find the Z.
Yeah,
so
nobody
we're back
knows
to
how to
MOXIE.
Google that. So, yeah.
So that's where we are.
What is the one thing that you want everyone at the lunch in September to take away? What are they going to feel when they leave?
That no matter what you bring, where you came from, where you started, you can end at the top. You can end at your top, as long as you serve and do it for the right reasons. And that's what we're going to talk about, doing it for the right reasons. What are the right reasons? Because money is the byproduct.
Right.
It's not the product.
It's got to be a heart thing, doesn't it?
It's a heart thing.
Yeah. Boy, I'm excited to see you speak in September. You're going to get into some pretty amazing things. I mean, I don't want this to be a cliffhanger, but we've discussed things that we said we're not going to talk about as the preview, but you're going to be getting into some dark areas and things that I think that a lot of us can relate to, understand. So.
The 5 things, really, that if you have them, you can sail through life with them. The trick is to keep everything in balance, and we'll talk about that.
Balance.
Balance.
We like balance in life. That's good.
Important.
That's good.
Got to have it.
Is there anything else that you'd like to add about your talk?
No, just come and show up and enjoy yourselves. We're going to have a great time.
And I definitely want our friends to subscribe. Again, it's called Builders Podcast. If you saw, I just took a little peek. So I'm like, what's the name of the show again? It's our first one.
All right.
Builders Podcast. Make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss. We're going to do each speaker every month. And how can we get a hold of you specifically?
Randye Kimmel MC at yahoo.com.
Okay.
RANDYE. Randye Kimmel MC at yahoo.com. Write me. I'll write you back.
Awesome. And thank you for your vulnerability of what's to come in September, because for those of us that are watching, we're going to be praying for you because you've got quite a story, and I'm going to be on the edge of my seat. So.
And thank you for having me today.
You're welcome. You're very loved and very appreciated. Thank you.
And so are you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Coming up, we'll hear from Christian Chamber President Mark Goldstein on the Builders Podcast. Do you have valuable information to share? Are you looking to build a relationship between your brand and your target audience? Are you able and willing to talk about your products, services, and/or industry on a regular basis? If you answered yes to these questions, then you or your organization needs a podcast. Podcasts are the new talk radio. 144 million Americans listen to podcasts, including 90 million on a monthly basis. Podcasts are in demand because consumers want information on demand, on the go, and in a personal, relatable way. At Triangle Media, we take care of every step of your organization's podcast. From idea creation to recording and editing through distribution, it couldn't be easier for you. We even offer white label podcasting services for agencies who want to offer podcasting to their clients. Contact Suzanne Lynn at trianglemedia.biz to learn more and ask about video podcasting too.
Hi, Suzanne Lynn here. Welcome to the Builders Podcast. It's the Central Florida Christian Chamber podcast. And of course, the face of the Christian Chamber, Mark Goldstein. And Mark, I want to start off kind of talking about what the mission is of the Chamber.
Great question. Great place to start. It's to build business, build community, build kingdom. When you look at chambers, you look at oftentimes there's a bottom line. Right. Make money, do business, pass out business cards, be very transactional. But for Christians, really, we have a multiple bottom line. It's about, yes, we want to make money, but it's also what kind of footprint can we leave in the community and can we have in the community? And on top of that it's about marketplace ministry. We may make the best widget, we may sell the best widget in the world, but is that really why God has blessed us to be in business that way? Really, it's just the foundation to then be salt and light, to be that peculiar person, to be the hands and feet eyes and ears of Jesus in the marketplace.
Wow. You know, there's really no organization that I've belonged to that's been like that. To be honest with you, it's been a learning curve for me because I'm used to being in networking and leads groups where it's right to the honeymoon. But we're dating at the Christian Chamber, and I love that. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Well, you know, people know that they're not allowed to use the N word around me.
Okay.
Network.
Okay.
And it's about relationship building.
Right.
And Suzanne, here, this is the bottom line. We all love to recommend. We love to say, I know a guy, I know a lady. Because when we recommend somebody and they're all that in a bag of chips, it makes us look good.
Right.
We like to look good.
Sure.
But we won't recommend anybody that we're not sure that's going to make us look good. So we recommend people we trust.
Right.
We trust people we get to know.
Yeah.
And that's relationships. And the Christian Chamber is not about religion, it's about relationships. So with all of our events, it's about getting to know why you do what you do versus what you do.
Sure.
How you do what you do, who you serve through what you do. When we meet one-on-one with people, oftentimes the transaction is, oh, you can't use my business, I'm moving on.
Right.
What we have to remember is, they may not be able to use our business, but I bet they know
Wow.
a half dozen other people that do.
Yeah.
And by having that relationship, they're going to open doors. Recommendations are business to lose.
And that's kind
It's
of
gold.
the inspiration for starting this show is about relationships, right? To be able to bring the speakers on and be able to get an idea of who they are, what's behind their message.
You know, I know you, I know Jim very well, and you both are very much relational. And what you do with podcasting and video casting is very much relational. And that just ties in very well with our mission at the Chamber. So we're just thrilled that that you're doing this for us.
Well, we really appreciate it. And Mark, your heart and what you do, we just signed up for the Chamber a few months ago, and to say that you've just taken us under your wing, and you know, Jim and I have said, well, gosh, we must be really special, but then we realize you do that with everybody, and you make everybody feel special.
And you make the Chamber look good. You make me look good because, you did a workshop recently, and I had the privilege of sitting in and listening to how you present and what you did, and it was not a sales seminar at all. It was, okay, this is what you can do. If you need help, we can help you. But this is where the market is going. This is where advertising is going.
Right.
And you and Jim through Triangle Media, you're on the cutting edge of that, which we're just thrilled to be able to come alongside of you.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And, you know, I guess we'll just kind of end on something that someone said to me this week, and it was just so profound when it came to, I'm not going to use the N-word, networking, but when it comes to trying to do business, they said when you give someone your business card in the beginning, the business card is a period. You've now ended the conversation at the beginning. The business card should go at the end. And I thought that was such a great marketing tool. That's so true. You would not put an end to a relationship early on.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Mark. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Suzanne. Appreciate you a bunch.
Thank you.
This has been the Builders Podcast, presented by the Central Florida Christian Chamber and produced by Triangle Media. If you're interested in having a program like this for your business, contact Suzanne Lynn at trianglemedia.biz.